Not that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 923. Hello, it is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Today, it's the finale of my into an interview with the singer, songwriter, guitarist Danny Newcomb of Goodness, the Rockfords, and now the Sugar Makers. Plus, we hear from Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And I bring this to you daily, if for some reason that wasn't clear.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Did you hear that? That was the absolute end of that joke that people use over and over again, where they equate all those people who are known as Germans with Nazis. Because did you know, my friend, that the Germans, have welcomed with open arms thousands upon thousands
Mike's Daily Podcast
of refugees? Would that happen here in the U.S.? Ask Donald Trump, please.
Mike's
he would say, build a wall.
Daily
So if you want to make that
Podcast
damn Nazi joke, you know which political party to swap in place of the word Germans. Wait, swapping a political party for a political party. That's weird. So yeah, I'm really... That's why I don't watch... gosh, what's that show that Chris Hardwick does? The At Midnight, which is now like not on at midnight anymore. It's like on earlier, whatever. The comedians, which actually all the comedians on that show that you see that make jokes and they play this fake game show, it's fake to the core. All those jokes are written ahead of time, and not even by the comedians, by like a group of writers. Chris Hardwick is not that funny. He's about as funny as I am. Yeah, not that funny. So that they always go for that Nazi joke. Whenever there's any Germans involved, it's always, oh, they're trying to take over the country and exterminate people. That was a long time ago. And look, look at what's... I'm just blown away by what's going on with the refugee situation. All the people coming in through Hungary, coming in through Austria, coming in through Germany. And nobody... It's like maybe a couple of news outlets are talking about it. Nobody is good. If this doesn't, like, I know what the Germans did was horrible. What the Nazis did specifically. But God, I mean, when do they get to be forgiven for this? And does that joke have to be made anymore? Anyway, you get the point. Hey, look who just walked in.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Shelley Shuhart, the jump supervisor. Oh my God, like, I don't make any jokes about the Germans.
Well, we made a joke about, like, Swedish people a couple episodes back. And, it just, yeah. Germans have a good sense of humor. They understand that we make jokes, but they make jokes about it themselves, about that part of their history. And, they don't want to bring it up. It's not something they're proud of. But there's lots of things in our country we are not proud of. And you know what they are off the top of your head. The Indians. The Japanese concentration camps, etc. So every country seems to have a bad thing, and we do our best to beg for forgiveness. We try to make good in some way, and sometimes it's that low-hanging fruit joke, though. I'm just done with it.
Mike Matthews, Chris Hardwick is hot.
Yeah, okay. Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, would you happen to know exactly what you are recording this show on today? I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm recording this show. That's why we don't have Haley with us again today. Because, well, it's the weekend, and we don't usually have Haley on the weekend. But, yes, today we are recording for the very first time this show on a laptop that I had for a number of years. When my ex-wife and I separated and then got a divorce, she got the laptop for a while. Then she gave it back to me, which, an interesting story about this laptop, I used it for music at a wedding. How long ago was that? Oh my God, that was a little bit over a year ago. And when she gave it back to me, the laptop was not in the best condition. She never did any updates. She never did any, disk, the defragger, anything. And so this computer was extremely slow and horrible. I didn't know all that. I start the wedding, and right when the bride and groom are, walking down individually to the front there to the altar. Well, we didn't have an altar at this wedding, but you get the idea. What was this? Some sort of a human sacrifice? An altar? Anyway, they wanted some songs played as they were, walking individually to the... well, I guess it's the bride that goes up. The groom's already at the... You get it. The beginning part. Anyway, this computer wouldn't work. Then, while they are doing the whole service and everything, I worked as fast as I could, rebooted, defragged, did everything I could do to make it, and then it worked fine the rest of the night. So, but that way, by the way, what is Johnny Depp doing? Frickin' cologne commercials. Sorry, there's a TV running here at the cafe anyway, which is showing, by the way, what was that movie that Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, back when they looked amazing, when they looked like, gosh, and they were, what was that called? Baby Mama. It was like a movie nobody went to see, but hilarious. Hey, where are we? I'm confused. Mike, that's alright, that happens to me all the time. Mike, I believe you were telling the story about how you ruined a wedding. It went fine after. Anyway, this is what we're using to record the show. All right, we're getting here on the finale of my Into an Interview with the wonderful Danny Newcomb. Got a great last song that we're going to play that he came up with the Sugar Makers, and it's fantastic. We're going to play that in a moment. But please, if you have not gone to the website yet, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, go there. You can find out where you can listen to the show in all sorts of areas. Yes, we are on, the Stitcher, SoundCloud, the YouTube, Mixcloud. We're on all the iTunes. Yes, please go to iTunes and comment and rate the show. That way more people find out about us and we don't languish in obscurity. There's a gazillion podcasts out there. And you've got to listen to every single one of them. If you tried to listen to every single one of them, you'd be a very old person by the time you would listen to maybe 8 days worth of podcasts. And then, of course, I do one daily. Well, I try to anyway. So you can find out where to listen to us in all those places. And then also you can support the show. We got a little Amazon button. You click on that when you're about to buy something on Amazon. And when you do that and you do any searching, that helps us out. And there is also the PayPal. If you want to become a Mike's Daily Podcaster of the inglorious kind and get a special personalized MP3 for thee from all the Cafe Anyway characters, you can click on that and donate what you would like, and that helps us out because we do this for free, basically. And then we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Yelp, Tumblr. Comment at any of those places. We read your comments on the section Emails from Email and your comment not so comments. And you can also email me if you'd like to sponsor the show or be a guest on the show. And we are looking actually for a guest for an upcoming podcast. So yeah, if you definitely email me there and we'll set something up so we can have you on the show. We love talking to interesting people like you. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, by the way, if you're not listening to this show, if you are listening to the show but not listening to the Jimmy Dore show, Jimmy Dore basically broke down all the candidates of the Republican Party in the beginning of his last podcast that he does. The funniest thing I've ever heard. Every single candidate, he had the funniest little one-liner about him. I can't remember any at the moment, except that, Scott Walker has no personality. But he made a funny joke about it. So listen to all of those. That I strongly suggest that show. If you don't mind your humor a little bit on the making fun of Republican side, then you will definitely enjoy this podcast he does. But he's always talking about the Amazon link on his thing. But I think people actually use the Amazon link on his thing. Which, as they should. All right, I'm enough talking, plugging other people. Let's get to the finale of my Into an Interview with the wonderful Danny Newcomb.
Into an Interview.
Okay. I'm speaking with Danny Newcomb of Danny Newcomb and the Sugar Makers, and we've been talking about his album called Master Wish, and talking about some of the cool things he's done, and about his bees and his trees, and you've got chickens and pigs.
I do. It's very busy around here, especially at certain times of the year. Like right now is pretty busy time. Yeah, and the chickens are very busy. We had 70, but the eagles started eating them, so we have fewer now than we had in the spring. So that's a fact of life on the island.
Now, how did you learn farming?
As I went.
No way.
I'm a city boy. I grew up in Seattle, but there's a really strong farming community on the island, and actually one of my oldest friends is a farmer on the island, so he helped me out a lot if I was doing something stupid, potentially lethal.
That's good.
Right, that's good.
Danny, if you keep doing that, you're going to die. Stop.
Well, there was one time when he had a really big sow that he bought from another farmer for breeding, and he picked up a piglet nearby, and the piglet squealed, and the mama pig, she must have weighed 600 pounds, just came crashing through the fence and chased us both across the field.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was frightening. That was frightening. But besides that, it's relatively tame as long as I wear my bee suit. It's fine.
Keep the bee suit on. And are the chickens dangerous?
No, I mean, not unless you're a grasshopper or something.
And then there's the salmonella thing, but...
right. Well, actually, if you don't have a lot of birds, it's not much of a worry, really.
Huh. And you've got an acre. That's a lot of land.
No, 9 acres.
9 acres. Okay, 9 acres. Wow, that's a whole lot of land. Dang.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't have to mow.
You don't have to mow? Oh, because you got the... do you have cows?
Sheep.
Sheep. The sheep eat the grass.
Right.
And you have dogs?
I do. I have one dog. But he's not really part of the farm.
Oh.
He's sort of odd man out. His name is Ringo. Yeah, he's a rescue dog. He's big trouble.
Is he like a Australian Shepherd or something, or?
No, he's a terrier mix.
Oh, okay. Ringo.
Yeah.
And you talked about last time about the difference between dreaming and doing, and it sounds like you are definitely doing. My gosh, that's a logistic.
Right.
All the logistics.
Well, after being in the music business with goodness for 7 or 8 years and doing a lot of touring, it was I really wanted to do something where it was hands-on and sort of reconnect with the physical world. You know, when a lot of the time when you make things in music, you sort of throw these songs out in the ether and nothing necessarily comes back. I mean, goodness was pretty successful, but it's you got to balance it out. And so for me, coming to farming, it really sort of filled the reservoir, and it made it easier for me to reconnect with doing music and performing again. So it's been great.
Are your kids into music?
They are. They all play. My daughter plays piano and flute, and my middle son just starting saxophone, and he plays guitar, and my youngest plays piano and cello.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
It is great. Music's a great way to grow up.
They're playing some great instruments. That's awesome. And so then you had spent some time on the farm, and you were like, wait a minute, I miss the songwriting. Did you had I've been
songwriting the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of when I realized, I was like, well, why am I writing all this material and working so hard on it? I mean, I try and get up every morning and come up with one good idea. Not a finished idea, but one that I could finish. So I was still finishing material, and I wasn't playing, you know. So I have this huge backlog of material. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just go out and try some material. You know, we live on a small island, and there's basically one pub that you can go play a show at, you know, holds like 50 people. And I just started going out, and I would just sing some songs, and people really liked it. And then Rick Friel, who's in the Sugar Makers, and one of my oldest friends started playing with me. He was like, this is great, we got to go play in town. And before I knew it, we got the rest of the band together, Eric Eagle on drums and Fia McGann on vocals. And it just started rolling. And now we're on rotation on KXP after the record came out. And, yeah, a lot of good things are happening that I never expected. But sometimes I think when you do something from the heart, it goes that way.
KEXP. turn it on and rip the knob off. Here's Danny Newcomb on KEXP and the Sugar Makers.
Yep.
Woo! Well, I can't believe, okay, you started a farm, you started a band. Those are two things I could never do. I don't know.
Why not?
You started a family. You started a bunch of kids that can play instruments. I mean, you just do things. It's like amazing. I don't know. Because I'm tall.
Well, thank you, Mike.
And I make limitations. And I have walls around me.
Right. You got to break down those walls.
Break the wall. All right. How about a tip about getting a band together? What would be your tip to people?
Find people you like. Find your oldest. Find good friends. Play with good friends. That's the best way.
Now I'm worried about losing my friends. If I tried to get them, like we'd get all mad at each other.
Well, it all depends on how you run your band, Mike.
So laid back, is that a good way to run a band? Kind of easy?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I'm the person to answer all these deep questions. Yeah, sure, right. Yeah, you got to be laid back. You got to work with people, and I guess when I started this band, the people I wanted to play with. Eric Eagle is one of the premier session drummers in Seattle, and he's just fantastic. So I really wanted to have really talented people playing in the project because they bring their own piece to the puzzle. And so when going to do recording or arrangements, they can add so much to the songs I've already written and flesh them out. And it's so much more fun, creative. So that would be, you got to have great players.
Great players, good friends. That's a good match.
Right.
Awesome. All right. I'll have to find some great players and good friends. Let's see if I do that. But
well, good luck.
Yeah, it's not complicated. Speaking of complications, that's the name of this song. I'm a Segway guy. This almost has like an Oasis feel to it. We were mentioning Oasis at the beginning of our interview because it's got the backup vocals from who was it again?
That was Fia. Fia from Goodness. Yeah, and there is something. There's a little Oasis in there. There's a little that 80s, or not 80s, but 90s Brit guitar rock in there. Yeah, no, it's a bigger sounding guitar song, definitely. Yeah.
And what inspired it? What was the complications? The whole idea behind it?
Well, that song is a little autobiographical in the sense that, and once again, it's a little bit about time passing as well. Just that as you move through life, your points of view change. And there's a line in there. This is something like, you can play it by the rules, but your father never said you had to. And all these things that you think as you move through life or approach a new challenge that are set. Like, well, I got to obey the rules because that's just what I do. You never question them, and you got to question that stuff. You got to question who you are, where you're going, and the rules don't always apply.
Rules, right? To break the rules.
If you need to.
If you need to.
I mean, wait a minute. What did I just say? Are you going to broadcast this?
Anarchy! I don't even know what
it's a rock and roll thing.
Wow. I like that line about the dad. You don't have to follow the rules even if your dad told you to.
Right.
Well, I'll play.
Or maybe he just never said you had to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am going to listen to this song now as I am playing it and absorb more of the meaning. From Danny Newcomb and the Sugar Makers, from the album Master Wish, which you can find at DannyNewcomb.com. And Danny Newcomb, thank you so much for being on Mike's Daily Podcast. Good luck.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Good luck with this album, and keep on farming and growing that honey, or breeding the honey, or what? The vomiting the honey. How's that?
I just steal it.
Stealing the honey. There we go.
I forget what I knew about dying while I was still cool. 'Cause I'd rather be
Sugar Makers. Great song from him. Yes. As we go outside of Cafe Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on Earth.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The picture is of Basil the Boxer and I as we were heading to the beach. He looked so happy. This was on a really, really hot day that we had last week. And I'm like, screw it. We're going to get in the car. We're going to leave Podcastro Valley. Going to drive across San Mateo Bridge, go to Half Moon Bay. And he looked so happy. As I was driving, I don't promote doing this, but I took my camera, not my camera phone, not my phone. I actually brought a camera. Some people actually have these things. Mine is one of those, it might as well just be a camera phone. It just points and shoots and it's okay, whatever. And I don't mind taking it to the beach because there's probably so much sand in it already. I don't know how it's operating, quite frankly. I'm amazed. It's good, though, to have a... Anyway, freaking A, I can't finish a story. So I took a picture of Basil, and he looked so happy. See that picture as we're driving across the San Mateo Bridge. See that picture of my happy Basil the Boxer there. MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. I have to tell you that as I went to the Podcastro Valley Fall Festival, which was going on today, I didn't realize... Well, I kind of knew Basil the Boxer as a celebrity, but oh my gosh, there was some pretty cute lady that came up to me and went, "Oh, that's Basil," and I'm like, "How the heck? I don't know who this person is. How does she know this?" So strange. But that's great because he's a great dog, and you should have a great dog too. There are a lot of dogs that need adopting. If you don't have one, adopt one today. It is not that difficult to teach a dog. To teach a dog to be obedient and whatever. They want to be obedient. They want to be your friend. They want to follow the pack and protect you and do what you and please you. So get a dog. Gets you out, gets you walking. I walked a good 4 miles because of my dog today. Got me healthy and breathing, and I feel great. I feel great. Do I sound great? I feel great.
Mike Matthews, you sound alright. You're not as, great and healthy as Chris Hardwick.
Ugh. Alright. I can take that. I can take that as a standard of beauty that I'll never attain. Fine. Whatever. Next show, it's going to be the return of the much-loved feature that it's a news feature, too, and it is called Wow Shuts Wow. Yes, there's a little bit of German in there, too. Let's say a nice thing about Germans once in a while. All the refugees they're taking in. Like to see Donald Trump take refugees in. Bob Geldof will. Will Donald Trump? No. Hey, the thing is going to be Wow Shuts Wow. We're going to find out an interesting thing about this place, this land that everybody's obsessed with lately. The Bay Area. Yeah, all the focus is on us. It has been for a while. I've lived here now almost 6 years. On, Tuesday, it will be, I've lived in the Bay Area 6 years. I moved here when it was in the toilet. It was at the bottom rung. And now it's doing really well. It goes up and down. It won't always be on the top, but it's at its zenith right about now. So, anyway, we got an interesting story about it. A couple of interesting stories we'll get to. And we will also hear from Benita, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the brewmaster.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!